Today I have with me Jahkeen Washington. Jahkeen Washington is a Harlem native and local business owner. He is the owner of Harlem Kettlebell Club, co-owner of JTW Fit, and founder of the Lawrence B. Smith Scholarship Foundation. Since leaving his finance job, Jah has been on a mission to bring quality and affordable fitness solutions to the Harlem community. His goal is to make fitness fun and engaging, all while getting people to prioritize health and wellness. If you're looking for a welcoming, diverse, and encouraging fitness space, you will love the spaces he has curated with his members. Dow has also been featured in notable publications such as Men's Health Magazine, The Griot, Essence, and Good Morning America. Please join me in welcoming Ja to Wellness Redefined. Ja, it's such an honor to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. How you been?
I've been good. How about you?
We hanging in there. Every day is a different day, but still having fun, still enjoying the process and the journey. So gonna go roll with that.
Oh, well, listen, you just got us right into our first question. Now, I start all these interviews the same way. Tell us how and when did you start first fall in love with health and wellness?
Uh, so I've always been an athlete, so my whole life. So fitness, health, and wellness has always been important through sport. But fast forward through the years, what really drew me towards wanting to make an impact in the fitness industry was two factors. One is having a friend of mine lean on me and rely on me to help her to get into some shape. So I had gotten out of shape myself and really had to dig myself out of a hole and really learn how to train myself again and learn different ways and methods to get myself back on track. And she saw how hard I was working and saw how much impact I had on myself and asked me to help her. And I was able to help her in 2014 lose like 80 pounds. And it was a big thing for her. It helped her mentally, helped her physically, obviously. It helped her confidence. It helped her in the workplace. She just had a different mindset and felt really great about all the things that she could do because fitness was a thing that she could never really kind of get down and handle most of the time. So once she was able to do that, everything else felt a lot easier. And then the second part would be unfortunate story, but I lost a good friend of mine in 2013 to a heart attack. So he was an athlete just like me. We both played high school, elementary school basketball together. And he had like a triathlon completer. He had done just all sorts of stuff through sports and athletics. And somebody I looked at as in tip top shape. And down at Basketball City, he had a heart attack on the court, made it to the hospital, and unfortunately passed away. And so that was like the second thing that really made me want to really help people understand that you need to sort of put yourself in position to live a long lifestyle because things do happen. But what I wanted people to take from that is like even the most athletic person can be gone in the blink of an eye. So, that should open up our eyes in terms of like, let me do a little bit more. Let me be a little bit better about what I'm eating, managing some exercise. And again, just putting myself in a position to um, potentially live a healthier lifestyle and live a longer, more fruitful life.
Wow, thanks for sharing that story. Oh my gosh. Now let's circle back to your friend. How did you help her lose the 80 pounds? Like what tactics? Like what did you do to make things different for her?
Yeah, this was a lot of trial and error. And I'll say this was before I actually really wanted to become a coach. So I was still working in finance. I was in the middle of like my seventh year in the finance world. And so fitness was really just like a side thing for me in terms of helping people. I just wanted to be able to, after work and before I got to work, I would meet up with a couple of clients and help them out and wasn't really charging much at all. Just really wanted to see people have some success. But at the time, I didn't really know a lot of the terminology of what I was doing, so like things like hit training and circuit training. I just knew I had a system that was really working for myself. I was putting together different movements, attacking different muscle groups, and really just rolling with full body workouts every day that were short and intense and enough that I could recover from. And this is without me knowing half of the science stuff that I would know now. So I kind of put her through the same thing and scaled it to where she was, like her fitness level. So a lot of things that I was doing, maybe things that like jumping wasn't really on the menu for her. So I always made to regress it to something that she could do, maybe like jump rope. If I was doing sprints, I had her do like some low impact on the treadmill, maybe some incline walking. So things like that. So just really figuring out what she could do and then gradually progressing it as she started to get stronger and as the weight started to come off and she was able to be a little more mobile. So yeah, just stuck to the basics, man. Exercise is really 6 or 7 movements and you can advance those or you can keep them right where they are. But at the end of the day, the basics never die. The basics always work. And we just made sure to consistently do the basic stuff repetitively over and over. And it worked wonders.
Wow, that's wonderful. Now, is she still your client now that you're a big time fitness professional?
She's still here. She's still here. We've had some ups and downs. With the pandemic, a lot of people gained some weight back and things of that nature and stopped working out. But she's still around. Still trying to find a groove again, like a lot of people. But again, I think the biggest thing is never stopping. You realizing you can take a few steps back and just keep moving forward. You're never just done forever. You just have to really kind of lock back in and find a new motivation, perhaps, to keep going.
Yeah, that's the important part. Like, over the years, like your relationship with wellness and fitness changes, like depending on your lifestyle, what's going on at the moment. Your workout routine will change. So talk us through kind of like what's changed for you over the years. What do you see yourself doing more of, less of, and how has that kind of really impacted your overall wellness?
Well, something for me is, and that's in fitness, that's in my personal life, is just more balance. Not getting like bogged down into one thing and really just sticking to one thing. So, as much as I love working out, I realize that I don't want to be in the gym as often or as the same duration that I would. So, I'm making my workouts a little bit shorter. 45 minutes to an hour, picking very specific movements that I want to really get better at and kind of live to see another day. I've found that go hard, all the time or no days off, rest when you die. All those like aggressive quotes that people put out there, they don't really help people with like getting a really good mindset around fitness. And so I'm more of the less is more until more is needed type of guy right now. I only want to do just as much as I need to look as amazing as possible. And if that's 45 minutes in the gym, then that's perfect for me because again, I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to hang out with my girl. I want to see my family. I want to go to brunch like everybody else in town. I want to be normal. And so I've scaled back on a lot of that stuff and found a lot of space for recovery, some mindfulness, travel, and things like that. And I've felt more passionate and more energetic towards the fitness industry because of it.
Wow. Now you said they got shorter. You said 45 to an hour. I was like, wait, that's just regular. What was long for you then if 45 to
You'd
an
be
hour is
surprised.
short?
Yeah. Listen, man, you get in the gym sometimes, you be in there, 90 minutes to 2 hours if you're just, yeah, I used to think that the more you do, the more you get out of it, that type of mentality. And, it's like law of diminishing returns. By adding a new worker doesn't necessarily mean that you're more productive. That person could be in a way. So I look at the same with weight training. By adding another set, does that really mean much? No, you can probably just be really effective in the 4 sets that you're doing and go home versus doing 22 of the same muscle group. Then the next day you can't move. And I got stuff to do. So I can't be, limping around or stuck in bed. So I figured that, taking that approach has been just way more ideal. Energy is better, recovery is better, and I can train more consistently throughout the week and get a lot more done.
So what does your routine consist of? Is it just strength training, cardio, Pilates, yoga? What are you doing?
I go through phases. So, without getting into too much detail, but I'll do like cycles of work. So, I may have a block of work, which is probably like a 4 week thing where I may focus really on strength only and maybe just really getting stronger, picking a lot of foundation movements that I enjoy and just really lock in on those. I'll have another phase where I might do more like on the power side of training. So weights aren't as heavy, but I'm trying to be like more aggressive with my stuff. I might do plyometrics, more like jumping, trying to stay athletic. So I'll do some stuff along those lines. When it gets to like this time, spring, summer is where loads get lighter for me. I tend to add in a little more cardio, more conditioning. I like to kind of shred a little bit, maybe have an ab or two for the summer. So I'll tend to like modify my training and some of my nutrition stuff just to kind of hit different goals. So the one thing key takeaways from this is you can't train everything at once. And so you really just have to focus on, what's a priority and then pick some other movements that you want to kind of explore and then also have a day in there for myself where it's just like fun in the gym. I don't have really a plan or a program. I go in, I try stuff out and just really kind of explore what my body can do and move. And occasionally, if I could pop in a yoga class or something along those lines, I try to do it. But I've been a little better about doing my own mobility and recovery stuff because I do have specific things that I need to do for myself so that I can perform the workouts that I like to do.
Now, as someone who's been out there in the industry for a while, as an athlete, as a coach, as studio owner, who's owned two different studios, men's health top trainer for the year, like What is that one myth that's out there that has been bothering you that you just have to set the record straight about?
I mean, there's a thousand, but I would say the myth that, and this is it's starting to come around now, but particularly I think when I'm speaking to most of my clients are women, so the idea that like lifting weights will make you bulky, or that lifting weights is it's only for a certain age range. Something that's basically, there's a myth around weightlifting and like who should be doing it and when you should be doing it, and that's just something that like we need to get kind of just erased. Weight training is super beneficial for any and everyone, no matter what age you are. And you're not going to get bulky just from weight training. You're actually going to build muscle. You're going to burn more calories. You're going to, have more joint support, right? You don't want to have osteoporosis. It's one of those things. You've been those old commercials like, help I fall and I can't get up, right? That's the old school one, but it's the real deal. The more muscle you have and the more, more weight training you do, your bone density, your bones are thicker, so you can manage falls a little bit better. Any sort of jumping and landing where there's going to be impact, right? Having more muscle and being stronger is going to prevent you from getting hurt in those moments. Dodging out of the way of something, just having more control of your body, more spatial awareness, more proprioception. Like these are all things that go into weight training that people don't think about outside of the aesthetic piece, right? Yeah, you're going to build your chest and you can have some muscles and all that stuff like that. But just from a functional standpoint and wanting to live your life healthier and be able to move well and not, for me, thinking about when I see people trying to get up and grabbing for everything in the house just to get out of a chair, right? Because they don't have the strength to get themselves up. That's a squat. That's a sit up and a stand up and a sit down that is mimicked through some load. If you can do it with load, then lifting your body up becomes a lot easier. So, just tons of things with the weight training that's going to be important. That's, again, that's not about aesthetics, but I think there's this bad rap that, people don't want to lift weights. They don't want to wake up sore. And I think I tell people all the time, I say, lay down for 2 weeks without doing anything and weight train for 2 weeks. And I guarantee you, when you get out that bed after 2 weeks of absolutely doing nothing, you're going to feel 1,000 times worse, you know? So that's kind of what I would like to get at with the weight training piece. And just, again, just get people to get into a habit of, and it doesn't have to be a lot, just a few movements, 30 minutes a day, just to kind of maintain or increase some strength. But we're not asking you to be, Olympic powerlifters or anything like that.
And it's so funny that you mentioned this because I've heard this myth for years, years and years. Where do you think this is coming from? I keep hearing, particularly women, always have the myth that they shouldn't train heavy.
Yeah, well, I
And I'm
think you
wondering,
look
do
at
you
some
know
of
where this
these.
started?
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you look at some of these, like you look at the old school magazines, you can go to, without diving into any specific magazines, but they show women that are just skinny and all they do is cardio and, they walk but they don't touch weights, or the weights that they utilize are 2 pound hand weights that are really doing, not doing much for you. Um, at least in terms of like getting really strong. Right? There's ways you can use them that are important. I look at like Pilates and things like that, but just the images that we see, that we used to see, on television as well. It's usually, with all due respect, it's a skinny white girl who's the face of fitness, and this is what you should look like. And quite frankly, that's just not what we need to be looking like. Cardio is great. I love cardio, but cardio is great for its specific reasons, right? It's very good for your heart health, building some endurance, some stamina. I love it for, mindfulness as well. We've been going for a run, hopping on the bike and cycling. I think these all have their things, but when in terms of like getting stronger, it just doesn't compare. It's not supposed to compare. They're supposed to actually work together. So if somebody's wanting to get stronger, or wanting to be lean, wanting to be toned, all those buzzwords that get thrown around, the only way to do it is through lifting weights. And, I think we're starting to move towards that and what we have, because now you see, it's particularly for women. Women are the real deal. They are doing fighting sports. They are lifting heavy. They're doing Olympic lifting. They're doing all the things, and they're doing it better than half the guys you see. So I'm excited about that, and especially me getting to train, majority of women every day. It's like a blessing for me. I'm happy that I get to introduce fitness in this way, and I love to see them like just go after it and pick up stuff and don't care whatsoever about. It's not about being skinny. I just want to be strong as hell.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I tell you, as a cardio coach, like everyone knows I love a good cardio class. But if anyone ever sticks around and actually talks to the instructor's doing strength training too. Like we're not just doing cardio classes. We do strength training because we know it's what enhances our classes, it enhances our lives and keeps us moving and keeps us able to keep teaching that cardio class. So they can't be separate. They have to be together for us. And it's amazing how I keep hearing that same thing. I've heard it over and over again about the weights, and it's just amazing to me, how that myth has been out there for so long.
Yeah, it's making a turn. I say that it's changing, but we just have to keep doing the work that we do. People come here and we can do some sort of cardio, but whenever they're in my classes, I'm like, hey, if you want like cardio, you want to really focus on that. Harlem Cycle's a place to be at. I'm not a cycling coach. I can't help you there. And vice versa. People will come from your studio saying, hey, Tamika recommended I need to come in and lift some weights. My hips are doing this and all this stuff. And so it's again, it's a great way to collaborate, obviously, but also letting people understand that, both have a purpose and we should be having some balance between them to get the most overall, like, success in terms of like health and wellness and what you want to get out of it.
Now, say I'm someone who's never lifted weights or someone who's just kind of been kind of scared of weights. Like, how do I get started?
So first thing is you can hire an amazing coach. I know a few. Um,
You know a
but I would
few?
say
Yes.
know a few. But I would think it's the best thing to do is there's magazines, there's programs, there's a lot of stuff out online. The best thing you could do is get in front of a coach, and that's being really serious. Like get in front of someone who is knowledgeable, who is going to meet you where you are, and that's the biggest thing, right? A coach is going to meet you where you are, understand how you move, what you're looking to do, your intentions, your goals, and then create a plan for you that is basic and progressive, right? So I want something that I know you can do, you're willing to do, and we'll figure that out together, right? Because if I give you a plan, you can't stick to it, then it's not worth it. But if I sit with you and allow you to help me put it together, and we're gonna pick movements that you feel good about, we're not gonna do things that you hate, right? Because that's gonna make you upset and you're gonna quit immediately. And then also have them be able to outline like what are our goals for the week, for the month, over the next 6 months. Having that game plan in order is going to be great because one thing that I've noticed with people is no one knows what their tolerance is for things, right? So you don't go from couch to running a marathon. There's a lot of in between, right? That needs to happen. I go out and maybe I run 2 laps and see how my body responds. If I feel good, great. Maybe next time I go out, I add a third lap. But what you'll see is people will do too much too soon, and they're sore, injured, can't recover well enough, and so they tend to quit. So that's going to be really important in terms of starting out is having a structure, something that's progressive, and gradually you get a little bit stronger, a little bit better, you add a little bit more, but it's enough that you can always recover and get up the next day. And obviously, again, do what you have to do with work. You may have kids, you may have to travel. No one can't be stuck in bed because of a session. That's a disservice done by the trainer.
Yeah. Now, what do you feel about all that's going on online? Like, there's so many trainers now on YouTube, online, or things like that. Would you recommend someone starting with on online first and then going to the studio, or starting with a trainer first and then being able to progress through online workouts?
So this is funny. Jake Gyllenhaal, I think that's how you pronounce his name. His personal trainer. This article just came out. He's like, he hates group fitness. He wants everyone to have a coach because group classes aren't structured towards one person. And he was just really just bashing like the group fitness industry, saying that a lot of people out there just to make money and so on and so forth. Um, and I was torn because I'm like, okay, I get where you're coming from in terms of group fitness. It's you create a class and like everyone comes and just does a class. And it's not specific to one person. You're gonna pick movements that you kind of feel like the entire group could learn. But also I was like, you could have regressions and progressions in there, right? For people. And again, it's not going to be catered to or tailored to them, but it's also not supposed to be because they're looking for a group fitness environment. They're looking for a community and energy, and they may not want a personal trainer because they don't have those very specific goals. So that's what I kind of drew line there. So I say that to say I think whatever gets somebody moving in a safe way for them and they're not getting hurt is a great place to start, right? If you can't, because personal training can be expensive. Not everyone can afford to go out and just pay for a 12 pack from a trainer. It'd be nice, but if I have to prioritize putting food on the table or things of that nature, then that's got to be important. And I'll do the free DVD until I can do something different. So For me, classes online are great. I think just again finding ones that you feel like you can do. If something feels like it's too demanding or it's too aggressive, don't do it. Let's find something else and keep skimming and browsing until you find something that's around the level that you like to be and the duration. Maybe you start with some 10-minute YouTube workouts, right, just to get some movement, see how you feel, and then progressively again. Without a coach, you know that I'm about 15 minutes is all I got, and then gradually I can go to half hour. Next thing a year later you're doing full out T25s and P90X and all that stuff, and then you're having a blast. So I'm for it all, man. I like that people have access. I like that people can put their stuff out there and show the world what they're capable of in terms of like training. But what I would like to see is a little more regulation on like everyone can be a coach, everyone can put content out, and it makes it very overwhelming sometimes for people to figure out who to go to or where to go to. And in that case, I would say you don't necessarily need to hire a coach, but like at least look into your network and get some opinions on like fitness based classes or things that are more structured or kind of reputable, I would say.
Yeah. No, so we see it a lot on online. We see a lot of these influencers are now doing like little tutorials and workout tutorials, and all the things, right? And
Yep.
I see you laughing, so I know you know. And so what do you have for people who are looking to strength train? What are the key things they should look out for just to be able to check that this coach knows what they're talking about?
Oh man. So I'll say this much. My social media page, I post a little bit of everything, right? I post some simple stuff, I post some basic stuff, I post some stuff that's a little off the wall sometimes. And that's just, mainly showing my progressions and how far I've come in terms of my training. But I would say this: most people that are the boring stuff online is the stuff that works, and the flashy stuff is probably things you want to stay away from. So anybody that's like promising you a six pack or this is the movement to do to burn the most calories or like those buzzwords and clickbaits, probably not even probably, those are definitely the people that are selling you and maybe not, might not know what they're talking about. Or they may and they just trying to sell you. But I would say I'd lean towards going to the people that are giving you, here's how to do a squat. Here's six movements that you can do for strength training, right? And it's stuff that you can look at and go, I think I can do that. Right? Those are the ones. And most times people don't post that stuff because it's boring and it's repetitive and it's the thing you're gonna do over and over. But again, for the person that's just starting out, all you need to do is the very basics every single week, add a little bit of weight, add another set, and gradually you'll get into a nice groove. And then at some point you may be able to do some of the fancier things, but it's risk versus reward. And is it really necessary? Probably not.
Yeah. Well, I always tell people if someone's telling you you're going to lose weight and they don't mention nutrition, that's
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother
that's the first
conversation.
thing. That's a
Yeah.
whole nother thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
Get
it's some
yeah.
clear here. It's some very critical things to look out for. And I always tell people like the basics are the basics for a reason. Like you can't build a house without the building blocks. Like
Yeah,
you
and I
need
tell
those basic
same thing.
improvements.
Yep, and I tell them like, strength training is meant for it has its own purpose. You don't strength train and do cardio for weight loss, right? If that's your goal, right? Nutrition is the piece. If you're in a calorie deficit, you're gonna lose weight. I don't care if you work out or not. If you're not in a calorie deficit, you will not lose weight. I don't care how often you go to the gym. If the nutrition is horrible, you're putting in all this work just to not see that the one thing that you want to happen because this other side is always omitted from the equation. And that's where the balance
Yeah.
comes in. You can do less working out and manage the eating and see a ton of results, right? Because most times it's the food. I tell people all the time, but nobody
Well,
wants to
so
hear
yeah,
that.
80% is the food.
Nobody wants
I
to hear
know.
that. Yeah.
No, we don't
Yeah.
want to hear that. We want to have our cake and eat it
Of
too,
course.
literally.
They're like, I'm gonna go to this gym. I'm gonna go to this gym 3 times a day, and I'm gonna eat this burger and see what happens. And I'm like, you could do,
Mhm.
I'm like, I never want to go to the gym twice a day. Rarely ever. Like, you know, so if I can just manage these meals a little bit better and just stay in the gym for 45 to an hour, that's again, I'm trying to do less and look amazing. And that's really the key is how to just minimize working out altogether.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been eye opening for me, hopefully for everyone else. And hopefully everyone's going to put down their phones now and go pick up some weights.
I hope so. I
Well,
hope
John,
so.
tell
Yeah.
us, how can everyone find you?
Oh, I'm all over the place, man.
How can we find you after this?
So you can reach out to me at Instagram, JAH_HOLLA. Also running two fitness businesses at once. JTW Fit is the baby. That's the firstborn. JTW Fit, that's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as well. And if you're interested in learning kettlebell specific training, you can tag us or follow us at Harlem Kettlebell Club. We have intro offer for newcomers right now, buy one, get one. And we have a number of different class packs that you can take advantage of. I have a team of 10 coaches now. And so it's not just me. You'll get to learn some different techniques from some really highly skilled coaches. It's 5 classes a day, Monday through Friday, 3 classes on Saturday. So we got a large number of classes and options available. And we're looking to help people. We want a diverse group. We want people to come in and be confident and comfortable, learn how to use a kettlebell, and just being more proficient and being able to go to the gym and be able to train themselves. I think one of the biggest things for me is I want you to want to be around me, but not necessarily need me. And so the way I'm going to train you is in a way where if you left out of here, you feel like you have enough tools to go out and put together a really good workout for yourself. And the only reason you're going to come is because you enjoy the vibe and you want to be around some good people.
Awesome, John. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been an honor redefining wellness with you, and you'll see me in class soon.
All right. I hope so. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to Wellness Redefined. If you want to learn more about our guest, Ja, check out links in the show notes. We'd love to know your thoughts on wellness. Connect with us on Instagram. Our handle is Wellness Redefined, or visit our website at harlemcycle.com. Thanks again for listening. If you like what you hear, please share with a friend. We'll be back next time with more on Wellness Redefined. Until then, I'm Tamika Rochester. Take care.